Okay, so a few days ago, XQC had a debate with DJ Academics and Aiden Ross about the trans movement, and basically, a lot of the things that XQC says in this conversation is just straight up wrong.
It's like
It's just male female, isn't it?
but sex, XX, XY, end of story. Cool, end of story.
Yeah.
Why is gender such a problem for you to intake as new information? Like that it's
Why
a
is it new
social
information?
construct.
It's this, bro. It's what
Because
you're
it's
born.
a social construct. No, it's nothing you're born into.
So XQC says that sex and gender are different, and that is kinda true. It is also very misleading and intentionally confusing because that is literally the only way for this trans movement to get as far as it did. The only possible way for them to do that is by lying and being intentionally deceptive. The truth is, trans people are not just changing their gender. They are literally trying to change their biology, their physiology, their physical bodies. And everyone knows about it, everyone is seeing it, and yet somehow they convinced all of us to think that, oh yeah, it's just gender and sex is different. And I know what XQC in this conversation says, but he doesn't believe that trans people are changing their sex.
Like, I completely get your argument, and you're right. But the people we're talking about, they want to be able to pick not only gender but sex. They're picking.
That doesn't seem right.
He's completely correct. The entire trans movement is literally attempting to change their biology, to change their sex. And not only that, they are forcing us, the normal people, to comply with their delusions. So I am going to prove this, and literally not a single person is gonna be able to disprove what I'm about to say. I'm gonna start with one specific example. This is a trans woman that got banned from a females only app. And now this person is suing the creator of that app for banning her. And the argument that this person used in court is that she changed her sex on her birth certificate. Like legally, she changed her sex on her birth certificate. And this is not the only example. If you go and search on Google, you can find plenty of these types of examples. Not only that, just 10 days ago, Germany passed a law that allows parents to decide what sex is their baby. Parents can decide the sex of your newborn baby at birth. And now imagine, you're a newborn baby and your parents are these people. Or these people. Do you really think that this is a good idea? Do you really think that allowing parents to decide their baby's sex at birth is a good idea? First of all, these examples that I showed you, these people shouldn't even be allowed to have a kid. But yet somehow, in our world, not only are they allowed to have a kid and raise the kid, they are also allowed to decide for the child whether the child is female or male. And honestly, this is a prediction that I'm gonna make. Eventually, there's probably gonna be a lot more sexes in the near future that these people are gonna be able to decide for their child. In the future, I guarantee you that these people will make up their own sexes. I guarantee it. If that hasn't already happened, I don't know. If it hasn't already happened, it definitely will happen in the future. I guarantee it.
They call themselves a woman and a female. That's a fact. Why y'all acting like they still consider themselves a male?
They still mean the gender though. Like, and if they don't, they're wrong. But that doesn't. Why do you feel so enraged and compelled to write them? That's the government's thing to do that. If they misrepresent themselves on a government form, they're now wrong. That's illegal.
Yeah, except it's not illegal. They are literally changing their sex legally. That is the direction that all of our Western societies are going in.
If they say sex and they misrepresent themselves, that's actually wrong. Why do you feel like you have to go, no, you are this, you are that?
Because they're using laws to force us to comply to their delusions, to comply with their sex identity. It's like in the same German law that just passed 10 days ago, they literally implemented a rule that if you dead name a trans person, you will be fined $10,000. And I can already tell that some people are gonna say, oh, well, this is just Germany. Yeah, sure, this is only Germany, and Scotland also is trying to implement some kind of hate crime laws against misgendering. But do you really not think that the direction that we are going right now in is that this kind of stuff is gonna get implemented in basically almost, if not all, Western countries? Do you really think that that's not the direction that we are going in right now? And they also did say that I was gonna prove that basically every single trans person is attempting to change their sex. I don't see how people don't realize this. Everyone knows that trans people take hormones with the intention of changing their physical body. When you take hormones, whether you're a trans person or even if you're a bodybuilder, if you take hormones, you are doing it with the intention of changing your physical body, your physiology. That is not your physiology, your physical body is not a social construct. That is biology. It's like, how can anyone think that, oh, they're just changing their gender? They're clearly not just changing their gender. And when you look at bottom surgeries for both trans women and trans men, how the are you gonna tell me that they're just changing their gender when they are literally removing their genitals? Or sometimes, or I guess in the cases of trans men, they're removing a piece of skin from their hand or their thighs, and out of that piece of skin, they're making a penis? And it's not even a penis, it's just a bunch of skin, just fucking staying there between your legs. It's like, I have no idea who is allowing people to do this to themselves? And not only that, it's like when you listen to what trans people want, it's like trans women want to be allowed to use the women's toilets, the women's bathrooms, they want to be sent to women's prisons, they want to participate in women's sports, they want straight men to date them. Not always, because actually that last part isn't exactly true, because a lot of trans women are actually still attracted to females, and they go on lesbian dating apps, and all the lesbians are complaining about it, and somehow these trans women call themselves lesbian, even though they have the biology of a male and they are attracted to females. This doesn't make any sense. Do you see how this doesn't make any sense? Every normal person understands that bathrooms, prisons, sports, we don't separate people based on social constructs. We separate people based on biology. Women's bathroom means female's bathroom. Women's prison means female's prisons. Everyone understands this. The only people that seemingly do not understand this are trans people. And I don't know, and I'm not exactly sure why they don't understand it, but I have found this article that apparently says that there is a lot of overlap between transgenderism and autism. And yeah, I do understand that sex and gender are not the same thing, but the truth is, gender was not built separately from sex. Gender is built around our sex, around our biology. Our biology is the base of the sex, which is why to be a woman, you need to be born female. To be a man, you need to be born male. That is reality. That is how literally everyone thinks. Even though they might not be able to put it into words, that is how everyone thinks on a subconscious level.
Right? Aiden, if you believe you're right, in your world you're saying fact, in X's world you're saying fact, right? As long as your things aren't hurting anybody and you're not hurting anybody by spreading, right? That's fine.
Yeah, except people actually are getting hurt. I already showed you that after getting bottom surgery, a lot of trans people become even more suicidal. And it's not just affecting the adults, it's affecting kids as well, and they're not just transgender kids.
I just think it's hold on. I just think it's abnormally getting a little bit weird when we're pushing on our kids, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Nobody's pushing other than though.
The trans movement is 100% getting pushed on all of us. It's like we have all been getting told that gender and sex are different things. It's like even XQC says these things. Even, it's like just a few days ago, someone in my comment section under one of my videos said this exact same line. Even I used to say that, yeah, gender and sex are different things. It's like this is getting pushed on everyone in our societies. You can't just push this on everyone except for kids. And also, I don't know how he can say that, oh, it's not getting pushed on kids, when we literally have videos of kids watching some, like, I don't know who the is just stripping at an LGBT event. And a lot of people have been criticizing these drag shows where kids come and just look at these trans people or these drag queens just show off their cleavage, show off their butt cheeks, sometimes even show off almost their entire body, and have kids put money in their underwear, and this is some kind of strip club for kids. And the thing is, it's not just adults sexualizing themselves in front of kids. Sometimes it's even kids being sexualized by adults. What you're looking at is a bunch of young boys being dressed up in revealing feminine clothing at an LGBT event. This is the future that I'm supposed to accept? I'm supposed to be tolerant of this? This is normal? It's like, this is okay? And we also have data showing us that just in the last few years, there has been a very, very big increase in percentage of how many kids in school identify as non-binary. And I understand that non-binary and trans isn't the exact same thing, but I also found this piece of data that shows us that this generation of young adults is the most likely to identify as trans and non-binary. And I know that it says that this is ages 18 to 29, but do you really think that these people start identifying this way at the age of 18? You don't think that it starts earlier? And you really don't think that this has anything to do with this whole trans agenda? Everyone telling me that this is normal, everyone telling me that, oh, there's an infinite amount of genders, that gender and sex are two different things. And it's like, you really don't think it has anything to do with them teaching this shit in school? And XQC also says that, oh, well, it's just a phase, it'll pass. It's not like these kids are allowed to do any permanent changes, permanent modifications to their hormones, to their physical bodies when they are kids. So I already showed you a few specific examples of parents transitioning their kids, or in some cases even the government forcing the father to comply with his 7-year-old son transitioning. But XQC says that, oh, that only happens it doesn't happen in 99.9999 cases.
Abnormal stuff. I think when you become an adult, bro, that's when you know the most. It just hits you, bro. Like when you're adult, even close to adult, like even like 17, 16 maybe, like it's different for everybody, but bro, like it's just...
Yes, but you're not making permanent decisions on what you're feeling when you're young. They don't let you do that. For like 99.99999% of the time, you're not gonna life up because you feel those ways or you think those ways.
So I don't really have any percentage numbers to disprove what XQC said, but other than the specific examples that I showed you, I also know about this one gender-affirming clinic called Tavistock in England that was specifically created with the purpose of helping people under 18 with their gender identity by giving them puberty blockers, giving them hormones, and also performing gender-affirming surgery. This clinic operated for 45 years and they treated tens of thousands of kids. And this clinic got shut down because it prescribed these treatments for kids way too fast. A lot of these kids were just confused and ended up regretting what they did to themselves. And now ask yourself, what are the chances that this is the only clinic that has irresponsibly treated people that thought that they were transgender? And not only that, if you've ever been in trans communities, or if you've ever listened to trans advocates talk about this subject, you will hear that they talk about puberty blockers, and they say that puberty blockers are completely harmless. There's literally no side effects. You just take them, they pause your puberty, and once you get off them, if you decide to get off them, then you'll just go through puberty normally. And that is a complete lie that literally this entire community to this day repeats. The UK government decided to ban puberty blockers entirely because they have done extensive research and found that actually there's a lot of things that go wrong by taking puberty blockers, by prescribing puberty blockers to kids. It turns out that puberty blockers are not really completely reversible, and they can negatively affect your brain development, your fertility forever, and also your bone development for the rest of your life. But despite these new findings, you have to understand that the trans community doesn't want to listen to any of this. If you go in with trans communities and you challenge them on their beliefs, even if you do it respectfully, they will disagree with you, they will not listen to you, and they will ban you from their communities. They live in a bubble where if anyone disagrees with them, that person is removed. So now ask yourself, if more and more kids, underage kids, identify as non-binary, identify as trans, and they join one of these communities, and everyone in these spaces tells them that, oh yeah, you can just get on puberty blockers, and they're completely reversible, completely safe. It's like, do you really not think that those kids might consider using these puberty blockers until, let's say, they know for sure whether they are a man or a woman? Do you really don't think that that never happens? And not only that, we literally know that Keffels, for example, a trans YouTuber, was literally distributing drugs, illegal drugs, to minors in her community to help them transition. And you have to understand that these trans people are not doing this because they are malicious people. They think that what they are doing is correct. Because in a trans person's mind, if someone, even a child, if a child thinks that they are the opposite gender, then they are the opposite gender. That's it. If you think you are, then you are. And in their mind, they are helping these minors to transition because these trans people wish that their transition started earlier, before puberty. The process of a kid that thinks they are transgender, it takes years for them to be put on puberty blockers or whatever else because they have to go through multiple doctors, multiple psychologists for an extended period of time so that the doctors know for sure that this kid really is transgender so that they don't accidentally ruin this kid's body for life. And trans people are advocating for this process to be sped up, significantly sped up, because if a kid really does go through their natural puberty and it turns out that they are indeed transgender, then obviously it would be significantly more difficult for them to transition into their desired gender.
The same way with the satanic stuff that I said earlier, right? It's like people are extremely vocal and all up in arms to call out all the LGBTQ gay stuff or trans stuff. Like they come from any area, any zone of entertainment, and they rush to protect the kids. But all the other shit, they're nowhere to be seen. They're not vocal. They're invisible. As soon as there's anything that makes them feel emasculated or whatever, they rush to the defense of the kids.
Okay, so this whole emasculated shit, that's just a bunch of cope. It's like, no one is emasculated because trans people and gay people exist. Okay, it's like, I don't really understand what exactly the thought process behind that is. But I think I basically kind of explained why, yeah, this whole LGBT agenda is being spread to everyone. Kids transitioning and kids' health being put in danger does 100% happen. And also, it's like XQC. The only reason why you kissed Austin on stream in front of everybody is that is literal proof that, yeah, this LGBT agenda is kind of being normalized and pushed on all of us. I feel very confident when I say that if this wasn't such a big topic, if there wasn't such a big fight in favor of LGBT rights and to basically normalize LGBT literally everywhere in Western societies, I don't think you would have ever kissed Austin in front of everyone. You did that because you wanted to show everyone that you're an ally and that, oh, there's nothing wrong with a man kissing another man. It's like, that is why you did it, and the only reason you did it is because of this agenda being pushed on all of us, including on you. Okay, that's it. I'm done. I don't wanna talk about this topic anymore. But I will say one more thing. Someone a few days ago asked me, how did things get this bad? How did we get to this point? And the only explanation that I can really come up with this is that we're just in a weird time in our history. It's like we're in a very progressive time in our history, and we're basically giving progressivism a shot in a lot of different ways, not just with trans rights, but also with immigration. It's like, look at what's happening in New York, where if you don't steal more than $1,000 from stores, you just get to walk free. There's even a bunch of people that assault killed people on the street and they still get to walk free. It's like there's so much stupid shit happening because of these progressives. And I think I think this is just a phase, but it's gonna pass. And in the future, people are gonna look at what's been happening during our time period and they're gonna look at us like we're a bunch of retards. But the question is, how long do I think that this is gonna last? And my answer is, there's either gonna be one event that's gonna be really big and really bad, that's gonna wake everyone up to what's happening, or it's just gonna take a long, long time, and by the time people will realize the mistakes that we've been making, it's gonna be too late and our societies are gonna be completely changed, seemingly for the much worse.